For this slide, as I told you, two other scientists named Lindweber and Berg changed the mechanism and thinker. According to this slide, we have 2 points in Lindweber-Berg curve. The first one is the junction between x-axis, this is x-axis, and this is y-axis, okay? The junction between x-axis and the slope will be minus 1 km, minus 1 km. So, if I give you such plot, for
Access شو
example,
معناته؟ Access.
Yes, sir.
I give you a point like, for example, 4, and for this point I give you 5. The Km for this plot, for this enzyme will be Km as this is right here minus 1/4. So this is the result. This is the solution for the Km of this enzyme. The Km will not be 4. The Km will be minus 1/4. Okay? And this will be 25. Yes. Minus 25. What about Vmax? Vmax will be 1/5, and it will be 0.2. Do you understand? So this is the point about this. And the slope will be Km per Vmax. Before I start the new lecture, I'm going to talk about some other enzyme. I told the mechanism, the kinetic for enzyme that just has one substrate and one product. A change to B. But what happens if we have more than one substrate and more than one product? Okay? So we have some other enzyme named multi-substrate reactions enzyme, which has more than one substrate and more than one product. What happened for this enzyme? For this enzyme, please write, although I have written
كاتبه؟
the explanation for you, but more explanation in detail will be here. For, please write, for multi substrate reactions, we have two mechanisms. The first one will be sequential. There will be two mechanisms. The first one is sequential.
كهرباء تقطع.
The next one is ping-pong mechanism. Ping-pong mechanism. What about, so we have mechanism, sequential, and ping-pong mechanism. What is the sequential mechanism? Well, regarding sequential mechanism, we have two subdivisions. The first one is random sequential, which means each of substrate could be entered to the active site without any arrangement. at one side, A could be the first substrate which enter to the enzyme active site, and then B will enter. And other situation, B could be the first substrate which enter to the active site, and then A will enter to the active site. When the enzyme do their work, we have again a random mechanism for exiting those products. For example, at one side, P could be the first product that exit the active site, then Q will be the second substrate, and at the next option, Q could be the first product that exit the active site, and then P will exit the next option. So this is the random sequential mechanism. It is not important A or B will enter first, and it is not important P or Q will exit first.
هو دي شنو تفسيرات؟
عشوائية
So,
يعني
A
الأول
will be random
حتى يعني الأول
and B will be ordered. In this type of enzyme mechanism, ordered sequential, it is necessary, lazim, is necessary for examination, that A should be entered to the active site first. It is mandatory, zaruri. It is mandatory to A to enter to the active site first, and then B could be entered to the active site. Then it should be the situation that P exists the active site first, and then Q will be the next product that exits the active site. So in such mechanism, entry and exiting the substrate and product will be in a very rigid arrangement, in an ordered step. The examples are here. For this type of enzyme, we have creatine kinase or CK. For this type of enzyme, we have lactate dehydrogenase or LDH. Can anyone tell me that what is the importance of LDH in clinic? What is the importance of those diseases? The most important use of LDH is to diagnosis of
place
anemia. A specific type of anemia known as hemolytic anemia. But in some other situation, for example,
Organic disease.
no, for example, in leukemia and blood cancers, leukemia. In leukemia, we also measure this enzyme to find the response of patient's body to the drug. Again, we measure this enzyme in patients with leukemia to find out the response of patient's body to drug. to find out what will be the response of patient to those drugs that we prescribe to him.
What is major? Which
Again,
major?
I see.
I write.
اكتشفنا الانزيمات التشخيص الجديد كلياته الحالي.
Okay, so you want to know our patient responds to the chemotherapy drugs or not? Can I prescribe him or her those drugs or not? Or should I change the drugs? Okay, this is the one of those enzymes that can help us for prognosis. Prognosis. The other mechanism is ping-pong mechanism. In such mechanism,
LDH transformation sugar to energy.
no, LDH, as its name suggests, lactate dehydrogenase.
Means
Name suggests that this is the enzyme that dehydrogenate lactic acid or remove hydrogen from lactic acid. Can anyone tell me that what is the classification? What is the class of lactate dehydrogenase? What is the enzyme class of lactate dehydrogenase? We have 6 class of enzyme. Lactate dehydrogenase is one of those enzymes. And please tell me this enzyme located in which of those classifications? When an enzyme remove hydrogen from a molecule, this enzyme could oxide a molecule. So this enzyme will be oxidoreductase or first class of enzyme. Okay, about ping-pong mechanism, it is mandatory. So first, A substrate enter to the active site, then the first product will produce and exist the active site. When enzyme do the first reaction, enzyme will change. Look at here, the original enzyme is E, but the changed enzyme will be E prime. E prime. So it is mandatory for ping-pong mechanism to change enzyme to for entering B substrate. We don't have the second reaction until the enzyme will change. So when enzyme will be changed, the second substrate will enter to the active site, and then the second product will produce an enzyme
Come back.
change to the original form. Yes.
Yedi substrate var.
Here.
Ya diye. بس هو بيس substrate. بس دي يعني هو product.
Product. معنى ذلك سوداني
يعني A substrate أو شيء يصير أو example شو اللي تحرك
هذا هو كشرط شلون في موضوع شلون عملت شو هذا شلون
أبو بدي إكزيزف يصل لو يفرز إكزيزف
exist يجب rated
I'll explain it again please take attention
شنو؟
for ping pong mechanism
Yeah.
it is mandatory for
rated
enzyme
يفرز
we have two steps in ping pong mechanism. The first step is changing the enzyme form, enzyme shape. For this process, we need this action. That is, A should be entered to the active site, A enter to the active site, and then it changed to P product. A changed to P. This is the first step of this enzyme reaction. When P produce, enzyme will change to E prime. When enzyme change, we can start the second step, and that is B will enter to the active site to the new enzyme, that is E prime, and then it will change to Q.
Product.
Yes, and enzyme change to the original form. That is the second step of this enzymes. The example of this enzyme are transaminases like ALT and AST. Let me see the reaction of this enzyme. As their name suggests, transaminases. Please let me know that which of those classification 1 to 6 this enzyme locates. The transaminases belong to which of those classification? If you look at your previous slides, you can find that transaminases belong to transferases. Transferase, which transfer a group from a molecule to another molecule. Transfer a group from a molecule to another one. This is the word of transaminases, which are class 2 of enzyme classification. So we can say that ALT and AST, ALT or AST, this abbreviation stand for alanine amino transferase, and AST means aspartate amino transferase. What do you think? What is the work? What is the reaction of this enzyme?
I think he exists in the HIV process.
سيكزيست يصل؟
No.
وش اسمه؟
This enzyme
آه،
mainly locates in our liver.
وش اسمه؟ أبارتيت. عفوا اسبارتيت.
In our liver. Okay. So they show us liver disorders. Okay. Liver disorders or hepatitis. Hepatitis. We have 4. Please don't write this explanation. This is just for you. We have 4 types of 4 reasons for hepatitis. First one is drugs. Drugs. Right? Especially acetaminophen. Okay? Acetaminophen causes hepatitis. And therefore, we have increased and rise in AST and ALT in our blood. Okay? So, when your patient consume too many acetaminophen, for example, some patients, some people use acetaminophen for suicide. No, it has
لا الصايم يعني شو طيب مجتمع
Okay, so you can see such situation when, inshallah, you will go to a hospital.
Work society diye suicide.
Doctor, suicide.
يعني kill themselves.
You can see some patient that suicide with acetaminophen. In those patients, the transaminases will rise. Okay? And this is the situation that you can see the highest level of AST and ALT in your patients. Okay? The highest level of AST and ALT will occur in acetaminophen calcium. The second one will be ischemia, which means collapse of those veins that transfer blood to our liver. If those veins collapse, our liver can't receive blood and damage. Okay, so ALT and AST will increase. The third reason will be viruses. And there are some viruses, for example, HCV, HPV, hepatitis C, hepatitis B virus, HAV, HEV. No. HIV do not impact in our liver. Okay, but in junction with HCV and HPV, we have some patients that with an increased level in AST and ALT. Okay, and the fourth reason is alcohol consumption. So we have 4 reasons for hepatitis, and I explained it for you. Let's get back to the enzyme reaction and ping-pong mechanism. Ahmed, in ping-pong mechanism, this is the enzyme. For example, AST or ALT, each other, no problem. Okay. The first step, for example, in ALT, alanine, which is a amino acid, enter to the enzyme active site. When it enters to this active site, enzyme will remove NH NH3 group of the alanine, or amine group of alanine. So we have a molecule without NH3 group. Okay, you understand it? Enzyme will remove NH3 from alanine. This is the original form of alanine, and this is the changed form of alanine without NH3. Okay, what happened for NH3? Enzyme get the NH3 group. So we have not the original enzyme, no. Enzyme will change to another enzyme. So we have changed enzyme. So we can start the second step, and that is entering the second substrate. At this step, another substrate enter to the enzyme active site and enzyme transfer NH3 to this substrate. So now we have another substrate with NH3 and enzyme without NH3. And now we have the original form of enzyme. This is the ping-pong mechanism for this enzyme. One more point before I start the inhibition. One more point is about cofactors. Cofactors. Imagine a blacksmith. Do you know what is who is blacksmith? Blacksmith. Haddad. Haddad. Okay. Haddad. Haddad. Yes. Imagine a blacksmith person. Okay. He can work with iron and do all, but he needs the gloves. Gloves. Okay. To touch those iron. Okay. Cofactors work such as gloves for enzymes. Enzymes can do their work, but they need cofactors like a blacksmith, like a haddad, to complete their works. So cofactors are like gloves. Do you know what is gloves? Okay. So enzyme needs cofactors. We have several cofactors. We have two types of cofactors. The first type are coenzymes. The next one are essential ions. Both coenzyme and essential ions exist in two forms. One forms are loosely bound enzymes, and one forms are tightly bound enzymes, which means they bond enzyme with a covalent bond, covalent interaction, and this type they attach to enzyme without the covalent reaction, non-covalent reaction. Also, regarding essential ions, we have same such situation, similar situation. Some ions bond to enzyme tightly محكم, and some of them loosely bound. Okay? سائل
لا خفيف خفيف
خفيف. Okay? So those ions that attach to enzyme in a strong interaction, covalent interaction, are metal enzymes, metal ions, which means those metals, those ions, needs for structure of enzyme, not reaction of enzyme. Okay? Again, we have some metals that are necessary for structure of enzyme, not for function. Enzymes have some have a structure and have a function. Some metals need for structure of enzyme, not for function. Those metals, those ions that loosely bound to enzyme are necessary for function of enzyme.
Good.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
يعني ديك
About
بالنسبة للفانكشن ديك بالنسبة
coenzymes,
للستراكشر.
as I explained, we have prosubstrate and prosthetic group. Prosthetic groups are those groups that tightly bond to enzyme. محكم. السائل محكم. Okay? They attach in such situation. We have some examples about cofactors. For example, About ions, Mg is E pairs of iron, C and etc. About coenzyme or non-protein part of enzyme, let me tell you that all coenzymes are vitamins. All coenzymes are vitamins. So we need vitamins for enzyme reaction in our body. Okay? We have some examples. For example, fat soluble and water soluble vitamins. And we have
Yeah, it's
also
clear.
non-vitamins in this type prosthetic group. For example, adenosine triphosphate or guanine Q and glutathione. And you should know that although they are not vitamins, this type are not vitamins, but vitamins are necessary for producing this
ستتصفر
uh,
حتى يكون اثنين ثلاثة.
again, you can see here some
Yes.
other explanation. All of explanation will exist in both this slide, slide number 11 and slide number 12.
دكتور
Yes.
اللي نفسها inorganic times يعني هذيك كمية هذيك organic
Then iron or inorganic. Iron is inorganic.
فيتامين أو شو
They.
الأيون
Yeah, vitamin وكو
هذا متى يعرف؟ يعرف هذا.
سأما نسينا
لا، لازم نعلمه.
One unit.
خليه يدخل
Those
لا،
are
ما نسمع.
ions.
إذا مو
For
بدأ
example,
يعرف.
selenium, iron, copper, mist,
مغنيسيوم.
manganese, molybdenum, nickel. Those are all ions, okay? And all ions are inorganic. We have no organic ions. All ions are inorganic.
مم.
And the second one, coenzymes are vitamins. Most of them are vitamins. You can see such an explanation in these slides. Cofactors may be permanently attached, as I told you, we make them as prosthetic group, and temporarily attached to enzyme, which means they attach to enzyme and deattach them. We have some examples. For example, about prosthetic group, we have flavoproteins, which include the FAD. FAD is the vitamin B2. This is vitamin B2. For this type of temporarily attached or loosely bound cofactors, we have the hydrogenases, such as lactate dehydrogenases,
LDH.
that include them in NAD. NAD is vitamin B3 or niacin. This is vitamin B3 and this is vitamin B2. So with vitamin B2 is a prosthetic group and vitamin B3 is a temporally attached group. Very good. Do you have any question?
No.
Before I want to talk about this part, the last slide, and our lecture, and then I will go to explanation about intuition. This slide is about your practical lab, and we will do this examination in our next week laboratory
test.
and that is the effect of pH and temperature in enzyme function and structure. As you can see here, all enzymes or just work and active in a specific pH. And pH, far from those pH, the enzyme will deactive will deactive. You have no activity for enzyme which is located in a non-specific pH. So, pH can affect importantly in enzyme reaction. So, can anyone told me why pH impact on enzyme function or structure? You know why? What is the point? Why pH affect enzyme reaction? What is the enzyme structure? Protein. Most of them are protein. Okay. So proteins are affected by pH.
Doctor,
And
if pH decrease, he be acidic,
yes.
and enzymes depend on acidic in
Why
their
is it
reaction.
in contrast? بالعكس. بالبيتشوانا
كل ما يزيد زاد يصير حامض.
You have alkali
Basic.
and basic and vice versa. So you are true, and your point is correct. But what happened for enzyme in this situation? Doctor, it will be Zwitzer.
No.
The naturation will happen. The naturation will happen. What was the naturation? You did this examination in your last practical lab. You see that enzyme will denaturate by using acids. For example, SSA, sulfosalicylic acid. And what happened? As I explained to you, all non-covalent bonds, especially hydrogen bonds, will distract and enzyme will denaturate. So, when pH change, enzyme structure will distract it. Take a cherry. Huh? Yeah. Huh? When pH change, enzyme structure will distract. Okay? You understand? This is the point. So enzyme should be located in a specific pH. An example. We have 6 lipase in our body. Lipase are enzyme that dissolve lipid in our body. When you consume lipid, when you eat shla, خوزي وشوربة تشريب which include too many fat and lipid. Your body need to dissolve them, and your body use lipase, which we have 6 type lipase in our body. One of them is in our stomach. One of them is in our stomach. In pH near 1.5 or acid pH. This lipase do not work in our intestine. We have another intestine in our, we have another lipase in our intestine, which work in basic pH. You understand? So we have several lipase in our body and they can work separately. What about the impact of temperature? Please look at the lab. This is very amazing. As you can see, temperature can increase. By increasing temperature, the enzyme reaction, the enzyme speed will increase, but we have a limitation, and that limitation is about 14 degrees of centigrade. Higher than distilled. By increasing temperature, enzyme will denaturated again. So, regarding temperature, we have another explanation. Higher temperature can increase enzyme activity by 14 degrees of centigrade. Higher than low temperature, enzyme will denaturate. And that is why we measure our patient temperature, especially for children. It's very important because when temperature in those patients will increase higher than 40, they are prone to very risky disease, and they cause this situation cause those children to be died. Okay, so both are change in temperature and pH are important for you as a medical doctor.